Hi, howdy y'all. I'm Foxer. This is my first YouTube video, so hopefully it isn't too awkward. Apologies for any inconsistencies. I've never done scripts before. I've seen a lot of discussion about Forsaken balancing, but more often than not the people in said videos are just babbling on for like 8 minutes after actually talking about them for 2. So I took it upon myself to make a video, possibly a series if I feel like it, every patch, to place each character's rankings in a tier list form. There's going to be 2 main rankings, solo and team. Solo for singular survivability, playing selfishly and all that, and teammates for how good of a teammate they are to have. Before I get started, here are all my stats as of recording with each character and my hours. Take it as you will. Starting off, we have Noob, who's surprisingly complicated for a starter character. One of the only characters that I'd consider other than Dusekkar that requires you yourself to actually be good at the game to provide any value. With Robloxhorror being chainable, Slate Skin being ungodly good for tanking damage and allowing stamina regen when the killer's on top of you, the only lacking part of their current kit is Ghostburger, which I'm pretty sure is going to get changed sooner or later. Played perfectly, you can last a while depending on how bad the killer is. They're king of endgame along N7, but outside of that can be disposed of pretty quickly. Solo, they're A+. A good noob will remain unseen and waste at least a minute thanks to their items. God forbid you get a hold of a Bloxicola into endgame. As a teammate, they get a B-. Amazing util to survive, but very dependent on their teammate's skill. Secondly, our primary healer, Elliot, with nerfs to having multiple, a small nerf to overall healing, but no increase to survivability, he's actually in a pretty decent spot. Giving him more survivability might make him genuinely unbearable to the killer, but something other than our current option would be nice. The flat increase to speed isn't really much. But in terms of balance, he's still pretty good. You never want a team without an Elliot or two. Solo grade, he gets a B-. Their overtime is not enough to keep them alive from a killer who is only trying to kill him. And most, in fact, will target you out the gate for what you are. Teammate grade, he gets an S. With full buff from gens, he can erase a killer's progress in killing someone. No one else can currently do that, so he remains on top. 2-time doesn't do anything. They're getting reworked. Current 2-time provides no value, is the worst survivalist, and doesn't even have any moves. Current patch, they're high B, B+, for solo play, and are only D for teammate grade, as they rely solely on being selfish and probably siphoning items off of dead players. I'm gonna be happy with whatever they pump out as long as it's not this, man. That brings us to Guest, our resident protector. He's gone untouched for a while, and I'm pretty happy with that. The devs seem comfy with the spot he's in currently, because it's a pretty damn good spot. He's got good survivability, great value on a team, and lacks any necessarily bad qualities. He's nice to have, nice to play as. For solo, he gets an A. So long as you're good at the game, you're gonna know when the killer's gonna try and punch you. You're gonna get the parry. You're gonna beat the shit out of them a little bit. As a teammate, though, he gets a B+. While a good guest can survive for a very long time, a bad one will die immediately, especially against a killer that knows what they're up to. Moving on to N7, with his recent clone buffs, he's become probably the solo survivalist character. The king of the 1v1, a good N7 is an actual nightmare to deal with right now, but only in good hands. Being stupid will get you killed quicker than a builder without a turret up. He's good at avoiding the killer and escaping, but provides no value to the team outside of that. Solo grade, he's S-. Playing against a good killer might kick him down a little, but played properly, you'll escape most encounters before they even become full chases. Team grade, he's a C. At best, he leads clones away from teammates and wastes time dying, but outside of that, he provides little to no value. Speaking of Builderman, he's our next. I understand the devs want to have all the supports, like, have less health, but man, he needs something. He provides great, just amazing value to his team, but relies on them like more than any other support in the game currently. He could dance around his turret for a little while, depending on how bad the killer is, but in the current patch, he needs teammates to help him actually survive a good killer. He's got great value, but he just lacks survivability right now. Solo grade he gets a C, simply due to low health and team reliability. Teammate grade though, he gets an S. So long as he doesn't die immediately, the value from his turret and dispenser can keep the killer distracted and give non-regen characters like Chance and Guest a chance to get back out there. God, that was fucking horrible. Shedletsky, man. Shedletsky. The king of slander currently. Most Shedletsky players are ass, but do not let that fool you. He is possibly the best solo survivor in the game. Even with the nerfs to his chicken and stun, being a character that can do both in the first place makes him very self-sufficient. A good Shedletsky can waste time, escape chase with the stun, and then heal for another chase later on. He provides decent value too. If the Shedletsky is good, that is. Solo grade, he gets an S+. There is no other character in the game with the same mix of survivability and offensive util. He might not have the best endgame thanks to the time it takes to consume his chicken, but outside of that, he's a pain in the ass to deal with. For a teammate grade, he gets a B. He can still turn corners into second guesses for the killer, but a single miss is going to turn a stationary player into a corpse really fast. Even then, a good one helps their supports escape chase and waste time without getting hit by moves. Now we have Dusekkar, our newest support. Introduced this patch, he's our only support without a direct heal currently. However, like the others, lacks survivability and is very teammate dependent, but less so than Builderman. I forgot who said it, but he's meant to be played from high ground, assisting from decent distance, and it works pretty well. His slow, speed up, and shield are all amazing util, and can make killers drop chase immediately. But due to needing much better positioning, he's a much more situational pick. Solo grade, he gets a B-. If you can position well, keep distance, hit the killer with your slow consistently, and shield your teammates, he isn't the worst, but getting caught out similar to Builderman will lead you to dying very fast. Teammate grade, he gets an A-. Requiring good positioning, knowing when and when not to shoot, he can be good, but played poorly, he'll get too close to the killer and end up adding more time because he was trying to shield. It is what it is. People are going to figure him out the longer this goes on. Chance is in a good spot, honestly. His built-in debuffs to stacking chances isn't too bad right now, and he's gone unchanged for a while. Similar to Guest, but better in some ways, and much worse in others. Being what he is, consistently getting value with him is actually pretty easy once you get the flow down. Solo grade, he gets an A+. Rerolls max HP being 130. I find myself pretty often around 120 health, and with at best a 5-second stun, which as you know is kind of fucking ridiculous. While he lacks a self-heal, the ability to have a massive health pool and almost guaranteed range stun allows a decent amount of survivability. For a teammate grade, he gets a B+. A good chance can keep both himself and you safe by shooting the killer from a distance, while letting you get some more in the meantime. He's very skill dependent though, because unlike the other sentinels, you actually have to aim with him. But hey, if it works, it works. Killers are going to be graded by how efficiently they deal damage, how quickly they can end specific survivors' lives, their detection tools, similar things like that. Of course, there's going to be specific notes per each, but they should all kind of fall into similar categories right now. Killers are surprisingly fair in this game. Jason, with some small buffs to his rage in the latest patch notes, he still has the largest M1 in the game, and still plays best just focusing single survivors down. He's in a good spot, balance-wise. Suffers a little against characters like Builderman and Guest, since he relies on not being detected and needing to strike a lot of times to put someone down. He gets a B+, as experienced survivors will keep track of you and keep distance well, but on more small enclosed maps or maps with tight corridors, they're not going to be able to know you're there until you're chopping them to pieces. Cool Kid went relatively untouched in the latest patch and remains at least the second best killer in the game. With his minion anti-loop, the combo of corrupt into walk speed still being pretty easy to land, and decent M1 damage, the only area he lacks in is detection, and can suffer especially in endgame if he's lost the survivor. He gets an A, as experienced survivors will have trouble if you can hit your corrupt nature, and free pressure with minions if survivors cornered themselves in endgame. John Doe is fundamentally kinda hard to place. being incredibly map dependent. On some maps he's just better than others, but I'll try to imagine some nebulous, semi-fair map for both himself and the survivors. Dealing the highest M1 damage, even with hitbox inconsistency, you can kill people pretty fast. Landing your spike and setting good traps is essential to playing him well, and good survivors can dodge or avoid both pretty easily if they know it's coming. His playstyle has definitely grown on me, but it's difficult to get value against good survivors. He gets a B+, being the only killer where competent survivors can actually stop you from getting value by just being smart, but not making him unusable, still having great trapping potential in the right hands, and against stun-dependent comps. 1X is the best killer in the game currently. Stacking debuff that increases damage, detection built in with speed, insane amount of speed for a killer supposedly reliant on landing ranged moves. Killing people Jason style where you just stab them a whole bunch is unironically something that works right now. He was pretty underwhelming in the previous patches, but right now he's just like Christ. Good luck going against a good one. He's our only S tier because genuinely, what do you do about this guy? His speed increase off of minions too. Oh god, just everything about him. I'm a 1X main. I loved him. I played him when he was like 7 speed. Or like 6? I don't remember. But man, he is fucking diabolical right now. Here's what the tier list looks like for solo play, including killers. And here's what the teammate grade list looks like. Okay, with that being said, hopefully this video wasn't too much of a mess. But that aside, I hope y'all have a lovely day. I stream bi-daily. Right now it's Marvel Rivals, but depending on how well this video does, I could do some Forsaken in the future. I'm going to link my Twitch and my Discord in the description below. We host game nights sometimes, and I will see y'all later.